So warm welcome to all of you. So we have a very special guest today with us. His name is Ananda Karunesh Ji. So I'll just let you know, all know who is Ananda Karunesh Ji. So he's an author of A Thousand Seeds of Joy, teachings of Lakshmi and Saraswati, and A Thousand Flowers of Love, teachings of Parvati and Adishakti, which is a upcoming book by him. And he'll be sharing more about that with us. His work centers on awakening the divine feminine as a living embodied presence in everyday life. In both the books, Anand Karunesh presents spirituality not as escape from the world, but as a way of living in it with depth, softness, strength, and clarity. His work integrates spirituality, psychology, breath practice, chakra wisdom, and divine feminine practice into a grounded path for transformation. Ananda Karunesh is the founder of Devi Circle platforms and the Devi Path movement run by the Path of Joy Foundation. In A Thousand Seeds of Joy, the teachings of goddesses Lakshmi and Saraswati guide readers to they guide us the readers towards inner joy and abundance. The book introduces a practical distinction between ego-based emotions and what goddess Saraswati calls soul feelings, deeper states such as primordial joy, peace, gratitude, compassion, and freedom, and conscious living through breath awareness, meditation, and conscious living. The reader learns to cultivate these seeds within their daily life. In A Thousand Flowers of Love, the teachings of goddesses Parvati and Adishakti invite a deeper integration of the divine feminine and divine masculine. The focus shifts towards union of body, soul, and higher self, uniting heart, womb, mind, and spirit. The path is not ideological but experiential, a movement from inner fragmentation to deeper realms of consciousness. So, with this, I would like to have Anand Karunesh Ji with us. Anand Ji, if you can just please come.
Namaste, everybody. Hello. Hello, everyone. Let me see. Turn my gallery view on. Beautiful. Yes. Namaste, everybody. So great to be here. Such a pleasure, Dr. Urvi. She and I have been talking about coming on this show for a while. So
Yes.
today
Yes.
turned out to be a beautiful evening to do this.
Yes. In
Yes.
fact, I would like to share, Anand Ji, how this life space happened to me. It was in one of the meditation where I just received this message. So I've been a practicing homeopath for more than 25 years, and last few years have been very much kind of I've surrendered to the synchronicity of life and the messages that I receive to align my life with those messages. So it was during one of the meditation that I received this message to start with something like this, and the name also followed LifeSpace in that. And the idea and the objective was to to bridge or create a bridge, because in homeopathy we do holistic homeopathy. We do heal the human at the holistic level behind the disease. But then I realized that when I just practiced homeopathy, it was so much still, there was so much still more to understand that whole that we understood whole under the realm of homeopathy. And when I started doing other things like, meditation and anapanasati meditation and other spiritual parts of and therapeutic parts of past life regression and inner child healing and stuff like that, is, when I realized that there is so much to hold that I hardly knew about. So I said, okay, since I was not aware, there are many colleagues of mine may not be aware, and of course my patients also and my clients. So that's where I felt this life space would be a platform where I will be able to do this bridging, where people don't know about so many things happening in the world on the aspect of holism, or how to touch and transform a person or a life at the holistic level, going beyond mind and body. And that's how life space happened. And when this message came, also came the messages of who all will be there as a guest, and your name was the third name. And my life spouse, yeah, it was you, but then somehow we could not connect. I mean, we connected, but we could not have you on during that time. So I waited for all this while, and then finally you are here. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy to have you. And Thousand Seeds of Joy has been a it's such a close to my heart book, Anandji. So if you would like to say, because there are so many of my friends over here who don't know about the book, so I would like you to just brief off about the book. Though I've done that, but if you can just share your experience about that.
I would love to. First of all, I want to congratulate you. And I've been admitting all your new participants one by one.
I
I've
will
just
I will do it
admitted
now,
about
please. I will do it.
because I'm a co-host also. So yeah, thank you for inviting me and a lovely platform you've started, LifeSpace. The meaning is spacious. So our lives need to have space. What crowds it? The mind, right? We get crowded by the mind. So the spaciousness we used to feel when we were children is no longer there when we are adults. And that density comes in, and our lives become more black and white, more thought to thought, you know. So this book, Thousand Seeds of Joy, is to germinate these seeds, seeds of space, seeds of love, seeds of joy. And joy, love, all these soul feelings, we call them compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, peace, freedom. They all are those states that we would call happiness, we would call free, we would call an openness, expansion. We all knew these states in our childhood. And now, even though we have a sense of what these are, that quality is not there. Can you just feel that? Just even remembering your childhood, the sense of space also. When you were on top of a three-floor building, you really felt the height. These days, everything feels small when you become adults, right? And the feeling of that immensity, that freedom, that that real freedom we used to feel, studies are done and now I'm free. And that freedom, right? We used to feel everything. And those feelings have become less. And what has become now? A life crowded with thoughts and things and a race. And then ego has become tied to all of these emotions, kind of the negative feelings. And soon, what happens in that ego emotions trap, your life is just caught in that mind. And Thousand Seeds of Joy is to bring back, with the help of two goddesses that I would say we channeled initially. There was Jade Devi Kamla who started the process. One third of the book came through her, and then continued with me with Saraswati Ma and rest of the book. So the goddesses showed up very, fully. Lakshmi Ma said when she first came that I will bring from all corners of the universe, I will bring the knowledge, and I'll connect with all the goddesses, and we channeled like six goddesses at the time. Lakshmi Ma, Saraswati Ma were the main ones. We also channeled a little bit of Mother Mary, Bridget, Gaia. And so it started this goddess movement. These movements always begin long before we think they began. It always begins in the heart of someone. So it began in 2007, then 2009, we started writing the book. In 2012, my father passed away and something happened, and my own channel opened, and then I started, I was editing the book. We were getting ready to publish it, but two-thirds of the book was still to come, and which came after 2012 and continued. And it was kind of ready by 2015, 16. But, the just process of publishing and then um, here, there, getting more channeling, more information. So came out in 2018. And instantly it resonated with people. There was this whole missing spiritual world of the divine feminine. At the time, it was missing, but now I see a lot of goddess titles. A lot of books are there with, goddesses, because that's the new time now, the divine feminine. What is divine feminine? Feminine, as you know, is what is nurturing, flowing, joyous, wave like, expansion like. Masculine is more like structure, stability, squares, highways, you know, all that, structural foundation. That is masculine. Masculine is also great. You need to focus, you need to create. But feminine is that joy, that flowiness, like the rivers, even like the oceans. So that feminine of, love, joy, love being the water element, joy being the fire element, and fire and water is feminine. Earth and air are masculine. Earth represents stability, structure, air represents the mind, thinking mind. So this feminine was kind of took the back seat as patriarchy led to industrialization. What does industrialization need? It needs structure, stability, earth, thinking. So earth and air, that is where patriarchy, blossomed, thoughts and things. Things are of the earth, thoughts is the mind. And what we used to feel for centuries, not only from not only are we distinguishing from our childhood to our adulthood right now, but even from centuries, how we used to feel, We used to live in the fields. We used to feel the birds, the morning birds, and the sunrise. And we used to live with the seasons because there was no electricity. And we would wake up with light and we would sleep at darkness. And we were in harmony with nature. Many feelings we had because we didn't read so much, we didn't think so much all the time. So we felt. So we might congratulate ourselves that, oh, we are so civilized and we are so educated and all that. But if you could just glimpse, just for a moment, if you could glimpse how people lived even centuries ago with the land and what they felt all the time, you'll suddenly realize how much we've lost. We've lost the feelings with the earth, that feeling of joy, love, gratitude, and something invisible, unknown. I don't know how to express this. Like, have you sometimes gone to vacations or some place and suddenly felt much more real? Like, oh, I'm feeling this place, like the ocean or something, maybe a hill station, and you suddenly feel more alive. And if you don't have too much mind, you were feeling that every day. But now mind has increased so much in our life. The density of mind crowds out everything. So some of you may even have tears in your eyes sometimes when you remember your childhood moments. So that world, that invisible, spacious world that we lost touch with, That is an invitation in Thousand Seeds of Joy. The goddesses are basically reminding you of your soul. You're a bit too much in the mind. So the way back to the soul is go into your body, at least feel the body. From that, go into the soul with the soul feelings. These are those expansive feelings, you know, and you have to really reflect deeply on it. I can say joy, but joy can mean many things to you.
Mm.
But reflect deeply on it. What does it really mean? What does love really mean? What does compassion really mean in your life? What does freedom really mean in your life? And reflect your souls in your meditation. Go back to the childhood and even past lives and all those great moments of wonder moments of your childhood and vacations and all that and all those spacious feelings. So soul feelings are like the seeds of joy in the book, A Thousand Seeds of Joy. And it's channelings with Saraswati Ma, Lakshmi Ma. It's about Lakshmi Ma's lifetimes. It starts with, Sita, then goes into Radha and Draupadi and Yashodhara, all the different scriptures. Lakshmi Ma kept incarnating in different lives. So we cover different parts, covers different scriptures, and even Mahabharata. Even there's a feminine wisdom of Mahabharata, feminine wisdom of Mahabharata, and that is beautiful. So, it goes through all those scriptures, and through that comes all the knowledge. And there's a reflection on patriarchy, how we lost touch with the divine feminine. And it's changed my life, and it's been a great journey.
Thank you, Ananji. In fact, when you say that about how the like for me the book is coming, it's bringing us so much information about things which otherwise we know differently about Sitama or about patriarchy, about Krishna and Radha and Yashodhara and Buddha, and like there are so many things, and so much details are given, and with such simplicity. I mean, it's so easy to read the book, and it's so easy to just absorb the words and the spaces between that. I mean, it's so nice. But as you are saying that slowly, like as the book also says, Mata says that the patriarchy took over, and how the scriptures and everything also were uh, adulterated adulterated because the shifting was happening, and it was under hide, and now it's time that things are coming out, and this channelings and everything is like they are coming to us through all this work, and it's opening up to us. But in this shift which happened, my question to you is that of course everybody wants to be back to that joy and that love and that harmony and balance and more of nurturance. However, even when we talk about women, when we attempt to do that, there are so many layers that we realize that we are carrying within us. Like when I'm talking to you, I'm recollecting this words from Lakshmi ji. She says that like there are soul feelings and there are emotions, and then these emotions are layered with egoic structures to them. And the way to going back to that soul feeling is to neither attach too much to that emotions which are layered by those ego structure, nor suppress those emotions. I wanted to ask this question to you. Like, for example, she has used the example of sadness. Like, you should not be overtly attached to your sadness. At the same time, you should not be suppressing that emotion, but you just have to submit and surrender to it. Now my question to you is that in practical life, like be it sadness, be it anger, be it any emotions which are which are common emotions that we usually day to day in life we are in touch with, how do we balance this two? Like, we don't have to attach too much, at the same time we don't have to suppress, but then you have to surrender to it. What exactly does that mean? Like, what is she trying to say?
Yeah, so more clarity is definitely needed. What exactly do we do with these strong energies, emotional energies? And women definitely feel uh, more expressive with emotions than men. Men keep it all bottled inside. So, how do you deal with them? Do you express it a lot? And when you said attach, I think you're wanting to say probably expressing too much, in that way. So, do you express emotions a lot or do you repress? And neither seems right because we express too much. It's like throwing the garbage out into the world.
Hmm.
And if you repress, it is like throwing the garbage inside you. Where do you put this garbage? What do we do in life when there is garbage? What do we do?
Hmm.
Do we take the kitchen garbage and put it on the kitchen floor? Do we put it in the living room? Do we give it to the neighbors? No. If you give it to the neighbors, you're like expressing. If you put it on your own kitchen floor, it is like repressing inside your body. Nothing is going to help. Expressing, repressing, not going to help. What will help with the emotions is you have to find fertile ground and you have to first, clean your garbage of all the plastics and all of that. Take all the organic material and put it in the earth.
Hmm.
And then slowly earth will digest it. So we need a container. Container is earth, right? Kitchen floor is not the container. Other people's living rooms are not the container. Container is earth. Similarly, for our emotions, if you just repress in the body, that's not the right container. If you keep on expressing, wake up in the morning and start shouting, go to the office and get angry, then, feel other emotions, feel jealous, feel you hate somebody, all those, or you feel lonely or whatever. And if you keep expressing, that is just sucking up other people's energy. So, what do we do? How do we create that container which I call the earth, where you put the garbage? How do you do that? That container is the higher levels of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Mind cannot empty the mind in itself. Mind needs to be emptied in what? In the body consciously. When we repress in the body we're not conscious. We just put it inside and it's really repressed in the mind only, but we're not conscious, we're not breathing with it. If we consciously breathe with the emotions using the body, it becomes like the earth. It starts digesting it. That's one level. Second level is the soul.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do? Open up to soul feelings. Start remembering. If feeling jealous, start remembering with gratitude all the joy you have in your life. Then you will not feel so jealous. So open up to what is working in your life and have gratitude for that. And that will dissolve some of the emotions. Or you're feeling a lot of anger, open up and feel compassion for what? You're feeling, anger and somebody did something bad to you. You're feeling anger. Just have to open up more and look at their suffering. They got angry, but what were they dealing with in their house? Just reflect, just expand a little bit more. And you might feel, oh my God, they have such a life of suffering. And when you see their suffering and the world suffering, and then some of them are getting angry because they had such a bad day, you'll be able to forgive them. So you're not expanding your sense of presence, what's really going on. So anger can be, can melt into compassion if you open up your awareness. So you can start melting emotions in soul feelings. And then there's a path of devotion. If you have a altar, you have a deity, you do mantras every day, repeating that or praying also will dissolve some of the emotions. So these are the three levels: body, soul, and higher self. Higher self is your prayers to the deities and all, higher self, your higher self, God higher self, any higher self is good for that. And that is that earth that I was talking about, that kitchen garbage goes into the earth. So it has to be a higher level of consciousness in which you will dissolve your mind. It cannot be the same level. And most people keep their, festering in the same level of mind. They keep thinking, they keep emoting, thinking. Ego gets them trapped into it. They keep thinking. They spend years in emotions. And
Right.
they forget that every time we feel that emotional feeling, remind yourself, no, breathe. Learn some other breathing techniques like Devi Kriya, like Anapanasati breath, do a process. Like if you just do 2 minutes of breathing, it won't work. But if you do a process, half
Yeah.
an hour of Devi Kriya, and then just note how you felt emotionally before doing Devi Kriya and how you feel afterwards, you realize that, oh, it did make a difference. I'm not feeling so emotional anymore. I'm grounded.
Right.
So you have to add intensity to the body. Body requires a little bit of intensity. Half an hour of breath work, maybe do 1 hour of yoga practice, or maybe do some dancing for 20 minutes, go for a swim for 1 hour, go for a hike. Anything with the body with a little bit of intensity. And from that intensity, look at the emotion. Also look at the emotion. So when you're breathing, doing Devi Kriya, feel the emotion, let it digest in your body. So these are some ways in which you are neither expressing the emotion, which is what you call attachment, nor suppressing, which is you are negating the emotion. You have to do neither, but you have to become aware of the emotion using your body, using your soul, using your higher self. When you're doing that, the garbage starts melting into the earth. And
Right.
that's why psychotherapy needs spirituality. Because
Right.
that psychotherapy just talks about it, but they're still in the mind. You're just doing talk therapy.
Yes.
It'll work a little bit because there's a concept of unifying mind also in the next book. Mind can also do a little bit, but you really, I mean, now psychology is evolving into somatic approaches
Yes. Yes.
because
Absolutely.
body is big and body has to be used, and psychologists are now realizing that. And because being scientifically driven, they had a bias against invisible soul. They don't know anything called soul. And if they can bring in the soul with soul feelings, psychology does not even distinguish between emotions and soul feelings. The biggest contribution the book makes, Thousand Seeds of Joy, is this concept of soul feeling. This is not only an advance in spirituality, this comes from Saraswati Ma's wisdom. I believe this is a big advance even in psychology, and it will be seen like that in some years, that emotions and soul feelings are not the same thing. Emotions go around your ego. Soul feelings dissolves your ego. Emotions can expand your ego. Hate, anger, fear, Soul feelings always dissolve your ego. Soul feelings make you aware of an expanded presence. So right now in psychology, there's not much discussion about what are soul feelings. But unless you have that, you cannot heal completely. Maybe you can heal, but you will not blossom.
Yes.
Psychologists don't talk about enlightenment. They don't talk about, you know, maybe they do talk about self-actualization, but all that will not happen unless you really go deep into soul feelings. And that is, I think, a big contribution of the book of Saraswati Ma's wisdom, that she's showing the light even in psychology.
In fact, when you are sharing this, the work that we do in therapy, this is exactly what we do. We bring them back to the bodily sensation, because if you stay in the mind, it mind is like an ocean and the waves, it just keeps you into the different one wave to the next. But the moment, and it also is so much full of illusions, and it is so deceptive. You will not even know it when it will take you on the ride. but the body never lies, and it stays consistent, and it stays. So the moment, there is a connection with the experience at the body level, you come to the awareness field, and then when you focus on that, it opens up the door. In fact, in the work that we do, it just kind of opens up to the door to from where it started. The memory starts opening up, and the feeling starts, all the repression starts coming up, showing up, and it just starts flowing out. In fact, there is this person by name Brandon Bays. She's based in Australia. And when I was reading her book, and when I read yours, I realized that though probably she might not even be aware about A Thousand Seeds of Joy by you, but her entire technique. So Brandon Bay is a she was found with a very big tumor in her womb area, and she it was like a football size tumor, and she was told that if she don't operate the tumor, she did not have more than 2 months. And she was already a therapist and a healer, and she was working with Tom, I forgot his name. And she said, no, nothing doing. I just feel that I need to meditate on this. And then she started. And then the technique that she's written in the book, what helped her to dissolve this entire tumor dissolved. She just started entering her emotions at the body level. And when you enter your emotions at the body level, layer by layer, it just opens up, and finally it reaches the soul feeling. What you say, what the mother says,
Mhm.
the soul feeling
So, yeah.
actually it opens into that. And that has been our
Mhm.
experience with meditation also, no?
Yeah.
That once you start entering, going deeper and deeper, it just, you arrive there, and there everything dissolves. And there, yeah. So that's such a beautiful thing. And as I'm talking about the body sensation with you, I have one further question. As we work with this trauma healings, and people with various traumas, what I've observed with few of the clients is that the body remembers. Like when we do the processes with them,
Mhm.
uh, inner child, their childhood wounding opens up, where they've stored, the body has stored the trauma, and we do the processing, we do the reparenting, we do the reprogramming and everything. Even the past life, there is this person who had this claustrophobia, and we went into past life, and she was a queen, and there was some war, and they had to hide in a tunnel, and they blocked the tunnel, and then she died in that. And of course we did the closure of that pain and whatever that happened. What I've seen is, Anandji, that even after doing all these things, and closure and stuff, and there is a lot of difference in the claustrophobia, or even other clients with the phobias or their issues, but energetically shifts happen faster. But the body remembers trauma, the body remembers pain for much longer time. Even they are free
Definitely.
from the mind, but sometimes the body's experience of those traumas are so intense, the imprints are so intense, that it remembers for a very long time. So I wanted to ask you, like, so do you have anything from the work that you do, where we can help people to even heal this bodily remembrance or remembrance of their issues faster?
Yeah, so there are many body processes, and very rightly said that body remembers. In fact, if you are deeply tuned in, if you tune into energies, then the entire body, the DNA, which is coming from our ancestral line. So, you have two kinds of memories. One is coming from your energetically, from your soul, all the
Yes.
incarnations you've had as a soul, but that's different from your ancestry, your
Yeah.
parents, and all of that. And that DNA is coming, and a secret that a lot of people may not know this. This has come from Lakshmi Ma, which is not maybe in the book, but 60% of your karma is not coming from your soul side, it's coming from your body side, DNA side. Which means what? As a soul, you are cleaning other people's stuff because this is not your stuff.
The ancestral, you mean, the
Yeah,
family line, the
yeah.
lineage,
I
right?
mean, unless you were born in your ancestral line, many times we're not, we just come as a soul and we say, okay, we'll take birth in this ancestral line.
Right.
And now suddenly all of that ancestral line's karma, which is in the DNA, that's 60% of the work you're doing. Only 40% is connected to your soul incarnations in previous lives. Rest of it is what your parents did, what nonsense they did, and all the karma their parents did and their parents did, and it just spreads out, because it's their parents, you four and from four to eight, eight to 16. So all of that DNA is in your body. That's the DNA. And sometimes you're just processing all that suffering in it. When you heal that, you're healing, many would say 7 lives earlier and 7 lives later. So it's not that we have a choice. We're all bodhisattvas, like Kuan Yin. We're all healing other people's stuff. That's by we're designed like that. Like when you are working and cleaning out your body karma, you didn't cause it. Your soul didn't cause it. You came from another place. You just happened to enter this ancestral line. And now you are cleaning it. Isn't that what bodhisattvas do with compassion? They're healing other people. And you're healing this ancestral line. So we're all designed spiritually by the construction of, how all of this works. So what you're saying, body has memory, and memory goes deep. And some of the memory with DNA goes even very deep. Imagine you being, there was a lot of witch burning. You know about this?
Yeah.
I don't know how many. The estimates range from 300,000 to a million women in Europe. They were just burnt. Why were they burnt? Because, like many of you, they were a bit psychic. And these patriarchal men were afraid of psychic women because psychic women would just get the knowledge from above. And these patriarchal men, everything had to be in control. The king has to know everything. You cannot know more than them. So if some woman said, I got this from a goddess, or I got this message, whatever, that was considered, you know, evil and punishable by death. And this movement spread. And they would just take away anybody. Like, say, my mother was a psychic healer, and the authorities found out. They would just drag her out and they would put her on the stake and burn her. This is in Europe. Europe also was pretty, what should I say, pretty violent and fanatical. It's only after Renaissance that now they say, oh, Europeans are, more with open minds and all of that. But if you look at the history, India was much more open. We didn't have this kind of thinking about witch burning and this and that. And all of this also came from invasions in India. The India of the 1000 AD was not what the India of 15th century was. But after all the invasions, again from patriarchal men, things changed. So body carries that memory of being a witch that was burnt if you're born in that ancestral line. So then some of you come in this life and then you go, there's some fear about opening your third eye. Not that you should try to open the third eye, but if it is open, some of you want to close it because that's what happened. My third
Yeah.
eye was open when I was a witch in Europe and I was burnt. So many women are, just afraid of their gifts, their psychic gifts. Many are afraid because there has been real trauma in humanity with psychic gifts. That's one example. So the body remembers, and if the body remembers, the body will not let you open your third eye. There'll be some fear. Yeah. So those kind of things happen. So yeah, definitely traumas remain. But the way to get beyond it, I think your question is there are different processes. It begins with breath. Even yoga helps, breathing, yoga. Then how can you reach the body? Visualizations. So in Vajrayana Buddhism, you visualize like, a flame of light. Your body has become all hollow and the light is burning. So you go deep into these visualizations, but you need some guidance to do that. Then there are even things like repetition of mantras using the body, or even dancing, just using the body in all different ways. That will start loosening up
Mhm.
this, and then some of this healing will start taking place. A lot of times it happens the way the Devi Kriya is designed, it's a little bit more intense. It's a mix of three things: breath, micro body movements, and visualization. That's the beauty of Devi Kriya. So there is different kinds of breath, but we'll do something like that, subtle body
Mhm.
movements. So what that does is, with the breathing, when you're continuously moving your body with the breath, it'll activate those places and some memories might come for release. That happens.
Mhm.
And then with Devi Kriya, we visualize also golden beam of light going in, clearing all the emotions and all of that. So many in the past, many teachers of breath processes would say, no, 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 don't do anything, just focus on breath, because that takes away from the breathing, right? So just in and out, or just breath in, no visualization. There's some parts where they said, no, 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 no visualization at all. But if you do it properly in a structured way, which we do in Devi Kriya, and that is the beauty of goddess parts, feminine parts, they break all the rules. It's multitasking, multidimensional, and it works. It has its own beauty how it works, but it works. A lot of people have big, breakthroughs with Devi Kriya. We have some teachers who've become teachers after Devi Kriya. They had like a big transformation. So that can happen if you just do it with intensity. So what I'm saying uh, is that there are processes
Right.
to reach the body, and with breath, with yoga, with even massage, even um, all the other dancing, this, that, anything
Dancing.
that you do with the body will go in that
Mhm.
direction.
Right, right, right. So making the body feel safe consciously with awareness and doing things with the body. Right,
Yeah.
right. So talking about this, I would take the questions that I've received from the participants. Uh, so one of the participant has asked that is there any specific sadhana for goddess Lakshmi, Durga, and Saraswati for the Devis?
Oh, yeah. I mean, first of all, get your favorite pictures of these goddesses, make your altar, and, spirituality has progressed in some funny ways. We used to have all these pujas in Vedas and all of that. Then Buddhism came and all these deities were taken out. Jainism also, all the deities are out. Then comes Mahayana Buddhism and they start coming back a little bit. Then comes Vajrayana and many deities come back, Tara and all of that. So what's really going on? It's because of the mind. The mind can get so distracted. But now the time has come that it's good to integrate all. Good to integrate mindfulness, breathing, awareness, emptiness, all of that. It's good to integrate your with the body processes, these soul feelings. And then when we say higher self, this is when we're talking about Lakshmi Ma, Durga Ma, Saraswati Ma. Because see, higher selves are like, you visualize a bunch of threads and they all becoming one, and there are millions of them going into that oneness. But now you're over here, and it's like this little million threads which has all come together. Now imagine from here, amplify, expand that view. Oh, they're also separate, just have a magnifying lens. So they start seeming more separate. And then look above, they're also joining. And then come there and bring that down, put a magnifying lens there. Oh, they're also a bit separate. This joining of higher selves keeps happening more and more. So all our souls are coming together in a higher self, and those higher selves are coming together in a higher self, and so on. So at some point, what happens is the difference between Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga, and yourself at a deeper, higher self level does not exist because you're all one higher self. In the next book, we say at the 12th dimension, all our higher selves are one on earth in the 12th dimension, where there's Adi Shakti and all that. We become all one. So your higher self, my higher self is all one. And there might be other higher selves from other universes that might get into oneness in 13th, 14th, 20th dimension. But for all the humans, we all become one in the 12th dimension. So if we all become one in the 12th dimension, there's only one higher self. So when I'm praying to Lakshmi or Saraswati, at
Hmm.
least in the 12th dimension, I'm praying to myself because I'm her,
Right. In
right?
fact,
Because it's all becoming one. So when you are praying to a great being, Maha Devis like Lakshmi Ma, Saraswati Ma, Parvati Ma, Durga Ma, just know that at a very deep level you're praying to yourself also, right? Because
right.
you're all one. And so it's good to have that practice. If you resonate with a particular goddess, then get the picture. It will not take away from your mindfulness or anapanasati or whatever. Feminine approach allows all everything. You can do anapanasati also. You can do Devi Kriya also. You can do mantras with an altar. Everything can have a little bit of time and it actually goes together.
Hmm.
So how do you do it? Get a picture, get the mantra, which is your favorite mantras. They have some variations. Like you can say Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namaha, or you can say Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Swaha. Slight difference. Swaha will allow everything that is happening to happen with more abundance. Namaha will get you more out of your mind into the no mind because it's no mind, namaha. Slight variations are there, but you'll resonate with the mantra. Get a mantra, get a picture, get, sometimes incense, sometimes flowers. You can even do some offerings and start connecting with that picture. Look at that picture. One of the deepest meditations you can do is get an open eye DT. Their eyes are open and you look at the DT. You just keep looking at Lakshmi Ma's eyes. Just for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, keep looking and breathing and looking. And then even imagine there are not here, but we will introduce some of these meditations where you visualize that the goddess is breathing out, you're breathing in, you're breathing out, goddess is breathing in. You can do that with a divine being. You can visualize like that. Like create a very deep connection. And that will start working. That divine being is in your life now.
Yeah, I guess once you have this calling, you also know the resonance, like
Yeah.
whom you are feeling aligned with. And thank you so
Right.
much about it. Another question from one of the participants is that though I'm aware of the fact that it is my perception, I keep feeling that the world is competitive and everyone is moving forward. They are successful while I am nowhere in the race. And then somewhere this has become my parameter subconsciously, and all my self worth or sense of happiness is revolving around how good I am doing financially or how successful I am. Though I feel this is a very superficial aspect to perceive life, but many a times this comes and I can't help myself. So what should I do? So this has come from a woman, and then she is probably feeling that her self worth is tied to how successful she is financially or otherwise. So it's like
So,
wounded
yeah.
feminine, wounded masculine. Yeah,
So
yeah.
If you are in your 20s, the one who's asking this question, it's okay. These feelings come, because you've started on your career and you're getting this feeling. But you could be in your 40s also, and maybe you've had a life where you're feeling this. But all of us can go through the stage where we are developing and we feel, oh, the whole world is running ahead of us and we are nowhere. This feeling of, and why all this exists? Because it's designed this way. It's a patriarchal world. It's not your fault. Hmm. Who's asked this question? Do you have a name? No. The person's name who asked this question?
I don't know if she would
Oh,
be
yeah.
liking. Yeah.
Okay. But she, you have to hear this, that we are living in a patriarchal world. And so you're feeling this because all the systems are designed this way to make you feel as if it's some kind of a rat race. But it doesn't have to be that way. If we switch from this patriarchal world to a matriarchal world, where there is plenty of love, where soul becomes the focus of humanity, not the body, not the mind, not the achievements, that would be different. You're feeling this not just because of you, but the way the society is organized. And you're not the only one feeling this, by the way. 9 out of 10 people are feeling this sometimes, depending on where they are. So you're not the only one. And it just speaks to human society, how we've designed it, that as we start working, a race starts. People are overworking and they are going crazy with, work hours and all of that. And, it's not, does not give balance to one's life to work so much. So it's real. I mean, this is one of the sufferings of Kali Yuga, that you feel this kind of thing. So what do you do? So be skillful. What you do, first get some wisdom. And the wisdom is all of this mind and career and comparisons and, getting left behind, all of that. It is just a part of your life to do with survival. Okay. It's you want to be successful. It deals with root chakra. It's part of your life, but it's not all of your life. You may have family, you have love, you have maybe spirituality, you're listening to this show, you meditate, you are living in different levels of consciousness. And what you're describing is what Saraswati Ma calls just the iceberg, just a small floating iceberg. But the iceberg floats in the lakes. Lakes are your body, taking care of your body, breathing, feeling the body, senses, just appreciating that I can hear music, I can see the world, all of that is working in you, right? We don't take time to appreciate all that. And then there are oceans of soul feelings around you. The mother's love that you got, feelings of joy, that soul is even more infinite. And then the God self, higher self. So you're just you're spending your time thinking about the iceberg. The same thoughts of career, I've been left behind, other people are running ahead and they're making more money and this and that. It's just that iceberg. But even if you were to achieve more and more, suppose you didn't feel left behind and you could achieve more. You became a manager, then you became a director, then you became a vice president. All of that happened for you. Still, if you missed out moment by moment, feeling the joy of life, and you became the vice president and president of a company by the time you turned 60, but suddenly you look back and you go, I was just busy all the time doing all of this. I lived my life in that iceberg. I missed out feeling life. I missed out the lovely hikes and the parks and the, joy of being alive like farmers are, like feeling the oneness with trees and nature. So many moments I just completely missed out. So the question is that worth it to spend so much time thinking about that part? Give it some attention, because depending on the stage of your life, if you're just trying to make it, yeah, you need to work a bit hard and all that. The world is competitive. But if you already are successful and feeling this because you're comparing yourself to other bigger achievers, then there's no limit to it. You can spend your whole life thinking about these comparisons, and you're not going to gain much out of it. So, skillfully look at other levels of consciousness where you can spend some time too, and then spend some time here also. But don't judge yourself so much. That's just a part of life, that's just the iceberg part. There are other bigger parts of life where you can grow. You can grow your soul, you can have a healthier body, you can do many things. They don't cost money. Just going for a walk, a brisk walk, and swimming or whatever. Some of these things may not cost money, but they just need your attention, and you can have a better balance of your mind, body, soul.
Yeah, Ranjit, probably what you are saying is that when this thought or when this consciousness kind of hijacks us, it's just that we just have to create a little distance away from that and also look at other things available or other things possible, because otherwise it's so easy to get hijacked by that intensity of this survival thing, which almost all of us are part of. But just a
Exactly.
little distance, and then we see, and I guess that is where it opens up,
Yeah.
that joy
Yeah.
or that awareness or this consciousness to other things present for you. Right, so beautifully said, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And the other question that we have is, how do I feel gratitude instead of jealousy?
Yeah. Good question. So, jealousy typically comes how the other person has something that I would like to have, and so I'm jealous. So, feeling the lack in your life by comparison. And that gives us jealousy. It's a basic emotion. It's there for survival. Animals probably feel it too. We just don't know. And so, how to deal with it? There are many ways of dealing with it. One is at the level of body again. So, breathe with it. Any emotion, you can breathe with it. And then reflect. Reflect deeply on your life. Look at the world around you. Expand your view. There are many people who probably are jealous of you where you are, because you have maybe many things that they don't have. And so, does it make sense to spend all our time thinking of things that other people have and we don't have? Maybe our life mission doesn't need those things. Maybe when you meditate deeply, you'll go, huh, that's not my path. My path is something else. And I have to go in this direction, and I don't care, right? Like, do you get jealous of all kinds of success? No. Am I jealous that there's some famous professor somewhere? No, because I don't want to be a professor. Am I jealous that there's some famous cricketer who plays great cricket? No, because it's not my path to be a great cricketer.
Mm.
So maybe what you're jealous of, how do you know? Maybe that's really not your path also. So look deeply, and then look at what you already have in your life. And that takes little slowing down. So many gifts we already have. Reflect on them, and get in a habit of thanking yourself for those gifts. Thank you. Thanks for everything that you have in your life. More time you will spend in gratitude, the more manifestation will happen. And more manifestation happens, less reason to get jealous. But less gratitude you have and more complaining you do, life will give you more things to complain about. Less manifestation will happen. So there's no point spending time in jealousy, because it doesn't create any good manifestation. Just have more, just be wise, have more gratitude for what you already have in your life. Just shift your attention,
So
and
again, create a distance.
again create a distance. Yeah, distance. Space, life
Inner
space.
awareness,
Yeah,
right?
to always create distance. Yeah, yeah.
Right, right, right. And sometimes, as you rightly said, sometimes it's in the distance that we understand that probably this is not my path, or probably I have something to learn over here, or I have something to grow over here. But it can happen only in that distance. If we are
Yeah.
consumed, we just go in the the rabbit hole,
The
down
rabbit hole of
spiral.
emotions. Yeah.
Right, right,
And the
right, right.
ego gets attached to it and the
Yes.
all of that, you know.
Right. So more of this practice of being aware and then
Yeah.
uh, getting this little detached. Another question that we have is why do we suffer from financial losses? In that, I would also like to add one more thing. You know, as I read the book, so as I read the goddess Lakshmi ji says that the contrast was created, like, I
Yeah.
mean, the sufferings were created. It's like how we breathe in and breathe out, how the contraction and expansion keeps happening of the chest, the way things happen in our bodies. Actually, we are just representing what is happening in the universe, as you are
Mhm.
rightly saying, the expansion and the contraction. My question to you is that, I mean, why this kind of contrast had to create, where so much of suffering had to come? Financial losses, murders, rapes. I mean, so many things. This kind of contrasts were required, or what? I really don't get things about that.
This is a very, very deep question, and I asked this for a while because I went through a personal journey myself when I was 18, and it was like crucifixion for 9 months, and I was like, why does so much pain exist? And that question remained with my life for decades, you know, till I made peace with it. And really, all I can say is suffering is finite, bliss is infinite. So, how to understand this is that um, there's this universal, creative law of the opposites. Like you have law of attraction, there's a creative law of the opposites. So, for heat to be, the cold has to be. For night to be, the day has to be. For joy to be, pain has to be. Now, suppose there was nothing. There was no joy, no pain, nothing. Would you want that world? Then there would be nothing. Blank,
But so much
right?
of pain, so
And
much
I
of
had the same
exploitations,
question,
and
so much pain. I also had the same question. Yeah, 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 yeah. But if you were to get a 360-degree view and realize the level of bliss that is available when you become the higher self, then from that point of view, the soul says, yeah, I can go through this also. The soul is shown. You'll be experiencing this and you'll be experiencing that. And the soul is, yeah, I'm an adventurer. I want to go through this and I want to go through that. But of course, Earth planet is one of the harder planets to live on. So we have more of this. And there are some planets which are even worse. Maybe there's some realms which are worse. But many places are not so bad. So yeah, there's so much sorrow, so much suffering, so many accidents, so many intentional violations, rapes, all of that. So much of that is happening. And at some level, the soul has come to know what it is not in its depths. So the soul wants to know, I'm not this, and I'm not this, and I'm not this. And it is experiencing what it is not, so that one day, when it grows into what it is, it'll be like a very deep explosion. Your higher self will grow even deeper. So we come into these experiences, and that helps with the creative law of the opposites. Our higher self expands even into greater oneness, greater joy, greater bliss. So, how I made peace with the illness, I imagined the same experiences I used to have in that kind of 8, 9 month process. With I started having these blissful experiences. So I would bring in that bliss into that pain. This is very weird. How do you bring bliss into that pain? So let's say, let's just go extreme. Let's say an experience happened. Somebody was raped. And now she suffered and after many years learned meditation and went deeper into meditation. And now this person is having more blissful experiences because they've gone so deep into meditation. Like Parvati Ma, they are like, feeling the bliss all the time. Now is the time because we have repressed that memory. Now take that bliss, bring it to that day when the rape happened. Join the two. It's hard to do, but as one joins the two, something immense opens up. One sees the nature of suffering in the whole world, and how the bliss and the suffering, how when you see the oneness in them, samsara, nirvana joining together, in that oneness, there's like an immense freedom that comes
Mm,
in.
mm, mm, mm.
And one is suddenly free of that imprint. Otherwise, the imprint remains, right? The
Mm.
only thing that can free oneself from that imprint is someday this wave of bliss will flow through and show the oneness of all because of this that exists. Otherwise, you can't have that intense bliss also. It is all. Now, one nice thing about the bliss and the suffering is this. One of the reasons why everything is divided into time, space, why we exist over many centuries. There's billions of human beings now, and then after 200 years, there'll be billions of human beings. There'll be more human beings, but we're all divided. So we're divided intertemporally, we're also divided cross-sectionally in space. Why? Because each unit, each human person, each sentient being, each animal, each blade of grass is having finite joy and finite pain.
In dualism.
Divided. Yeah, in duality, right? Finite joy, finite pain. Imagine on average, I was a mathematics major also, and I also teach business. So I'll bring some accounting and mathematics into this. So imagine there's a little bit more pain than joy on average. On average. So the millions of grass blades and human beings are billions and they're animals and fish and all of them. But on average, there's a little more pain than joy in this finite existence. Okay. So now multiply that little bit of residual pain, which is more than joy, left over. They balance each other, but there's a little more pain.
Yeah, there is this
Multiply that with
participants happening.
infinity, you get infinite pain.
Mm.
But let me ask you this. Did any single entity experience that infinite pain? No. It was divided, right? Everybody experiences just a little bit, little bit, little bit. But when you multiply it, you get infinite pain. But not a single person experienced that pain, which is good. Now imagine when we all joined together as one higher self. With the creative law of the opposite, we created infinite pain. Now we have infinite bliss also, right? And
Right.
who's feeling that infinite bliss? That higher self. So isn't that the magic of the universe that we can feel infinite bliss, but we only feel finite pain? Isn't that kind of cool?
When
That
you
you
are in
never
there,
feel
it's not
infinite
cool.
pain, but you feel infinite joy. How is that possible? Because of this kind of a construction of universe of dividing up consciousness into billions of units, each feeling a little bit more pain. So when we grow into bliss as into oneness, then there's an experience of infinite joy, that levels of bliss and bliss and
Yeah.
bliss.
Mm.
So from that perspective, a metaphysical perspective, maybe everything starts making a little more sense. But the true healing will only come when you take your most horrendous experiences. The day comes when you meditate so deeply that that bliss enters even those places, and then suddenly those imprints are gone and you're like you're fine.
Yes, yes, you are right. Because when we get this kind of clients of this kind of traumas, and this is exactly the process that we follow, where we just take them into from their body, we take them into the deeper and deeper layers, and then that memory opens up. But it's now happening in the safe space where somebody is holding that space for them. They know that they are safe
Mm.
with some visualization and grounding, and everything is taken care
Yeah.
of originally, and
So
then
they feel safe. Mm.
yeah, now they are safe. There is a layer of safety. There is a layer of light around. In that presence, now they are made to, or it happens automatically where they experience
Automatically.
and all this comes out, and then there is this sense of freedom.
Freedom.
So
Mm.
yeah, yeah, but still, my question to you was, because have you ever asked this question to Ma Lakshmi ji or Saraswati ji or Parvati ji? This, why so much of pain they had to create originally, so that we had to do all the opposite work and then go into the bliss? And I mean, immensity of pain is sometimes so, my God, so much of
Well, I think we
suffering
are
sometimes.
we are somewhat soulmates here in that I had the same question for many, many
Next
years.
time when you
Yeah.
happen to ask them, please ask this question from all of us.
I have asked that many times and meditated on that many times, that why, and the answer just in the end is the why will go away. When your meditation becomes so
Yes.
deep,
I know it's still the mind, no? It's still the
yeah,
mind.
because the why is also the mind.
Yeah, the
And the
mind.
day your meditation becomes so deep that the bliss so overpowers you,
Yeah,
then suddenly you're like, there is no why left.
true.
And that bliss has completely cleansed you. And you get an insight on this creative law of the opposites, because it's
Mm.
all joined. And then with the insight that as much as bad as it appeared, it still was finite.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me give you another visualization. Imagine,
Mm.
uh, like we have a benevolent world in which finite pain and infinite bliss. And they're equal. Infinite pain equals infinite bliss, but just how they're created is different. But imagine another world where there is one divine being and one devil.
Mm.
The divine being experiences infinite joy all the time, and the devil experiences infinite pain all the time. That also meets the creative law of the opposites. Infinite pain equals infinite joy, right? Would you want to be in that world?
Mind says no, of course.
No, because, okay, the divine being is feeling all the great bliss, but what about the poor devil? They're feeling infinite pain. That doesn't feel a compassionate universe. That
Right.
feels like a very infinite pain feels like a very painful universe, right? So time, space, explosion, infinite beings divide up the consciousness. So one person, one being can never feel more than certain amount of pain. So even though it seems a lot, it is still finite
So what you
compared
are saying
to.
is, hmm, hmm, that it has to come. Both the experience has to come to one. It cannot be just one. I mean,
Yeah,
not either
because
of
of
them.
the creative law of the opposites,
Hmm.
they both have to exist. Otherwise, you cannot have joy without, you cannot just have a blissful world without the opposite. If we, you know how I know that? Of course, goddesses also are there, but how do we know that? Because if that existed, if that was possible, that is what it would be. Then we wouldn't have this world with pain, right? The
Yeah.
very fact that we have pain, that's like a proof that that cannot be.
Right, right, right. So we just have to
Otherwise, that
accept
would be.
it. This is how it is.
Yeah.
This is how it is, and then there is some. So there is this work that we have to do to then go through that experience. Like when I'm talking to you, it just reminds me of my experience of delivering my daughter, and that intense pain, and then at the peak of it when she was delivered, and I was in bliss. That bliss
Mm.
experience has been such a, I mean, I can still get that goosebumps when I have that come back to me. But yes, I have experienced that intense pain leading into this intense state of bliss. So
Wow.
I can really understand, I mean, correlate what you are saying or resonate with it. But yes, we have to go through that
Yeah.
valley of it to then go to the
I
peak.
will not experience that bliss in this life. No. I'm just joking. Because
Yeah.
I will not deliver a baby.
Right, right, right. So you have delivered other babies, but going back to the book, Anandji, I had another two questions. Of course, we are further in time, but if everybody's okay, if you are okay, can I just ask these two questions? Yes. Thank you. So the book Lakshmiji talks about three aspects of feminine: the women, the maiden, the matron, and
Grown,
the throne. Yeah. So
grown.
that
Yeah,
the throne. So that is the girl,
yeah,
the virgin, the married women, and the old women,
yeah.
because of this wounding which has happened, and the patriarchal, whatever is the reason, when this, like, the natural state of blossoming is, the maiden has lived that maidenhood so beautifully that it then she blossoms into the next, but that usually doesn't happen. So my question is, then once there is this awareness that it has not happened, you also, within you that this aspect of me is still unhealed. This aspect of maidenhood is still unhealed in me. This aspect of matronhood is still unhealed in me. Is there a way to repair it? I mean, even if I've reached the drawn stage, the old lady stage after my 50s, but I know I still have that unmet need, experience of maiden or matron. How do we
Good.
really balance that?
And I think the book addresses that a little bit. So you come as a maiden, as these are words from the Western spirituality. Jade, who channels some of that part, was is from US. So there is maiden, which is a younger woman who is not married. This is the kind of the
Virgin
virgin
one.
stage. This is like, you see these girls who are in their high school and or ninth, 10th, and they have this joy about them. And anything, they get away with everything. They say anything, and the parents want to do it, and everybody, because they're this flowing with joy, and they just know they'll get it, they'll get it done, right? They manifest all the time because they're living with joy, and that is that maiden energy. Okay. And so that is there. And then there is this matron energy, which is getting married, and now life will have love, and it'll have motherhood, and it'll have children and all of that. And then you raise the children, and all the joys of going through all of that, and then you get into the crone stage. Now you are grandmother. So now, at this stage, you've grown with the wisdom, and you arrive. So now what can go wrong? Remember some girls who get married early, or many used to, in my mom's generation, many used to, not anymore. But now also, if somebody got married at say 17 and they or 18, 19, and they got all the responsibilities and became mothers too soon, even now I've met some women who go, I didn't live my teenage years. I just got too much responsibility, and I was a mother, and I didn't know that maiden stage, just to be free and joyful and all of that. I know that. And part of them wants to live that because it is
Yes.
there. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, whatever stage we've not lived, a part of us will want us to live that stage, that is true. And in one part, Lakshmiji says in the book, that the hormonal imbalances that women go through, after they go through their, the matron stage,
The
and
menopause.
the menopause, and the hormonal imbalances they have, a lot of that is more if they did not really live the maiden and matron stage properly.
Yes. Right.
So if they didn't really have those joys in their life, then there's more hormonal imbalances after menopause. So it's important to live those stages as they're happening in their fullness, and then the hormonal imbalance will be less. So then we go, but what if one did not live those phases and now you have hormonal imbalances? So what do you do now? So the solution there also is doing some body practices, doing yoga, doing breathing methods, engaging in chanting, getting that light in, spiritual light, all of that starts creating the balance. So
Okay.
the solution is still the same. Meditate more, breathe more, a little bit more, body movement, Tai Chi maybe, or something to get the body circulating, the energy circulating with the breath, with the movement. So the effects that have accumulated in the body, the hormonal effects, they'll have less of a damaging effect on the body. So spirituality still works.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So
But
this,
because one didn't go through those phases, the body will have to the extent of, hormonal imbalances. Yeah.
but then there is a possibility to heal those wounds
Yeah.
and come a
Absolutely.
round circle and closure of those, all
Closure of.
right, majority of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And I would like if anybody from the audience, if they want to have any questions, please put it in the chat box, and a few more we can take. But Anandji, one further question that I had was, usually, uh, we know that a female bodies compared like aligned, or we say moon is the female and the sun is the male energy, masculine and feminine. However, in the book, she says that it's not like that. The female is the sun energy and the male is the lunar energy, the moon energy. And we also know that as a woman, like when we go through the cycle, the menstrual cycle, it so much coincides with the lunar cycle,
Mm.
right? So how do we understand that?
Okay. So uh, there's a good discussion about the sun and the moon in the book. And in the ancient times, very ancient times, we had sun was seen as a goddess.
Hmm.
And in India, even now, Chanda Mama, moon is seen as Mama, masculine energy. Mama meaning the maternal uncle, not mommy.
Hmm.
So Chanda Mama we say. So in India still, uh, in the West, they see moon as feminine, sun as masculine. But in some of the indigenous cultures in India, in many other places, moon was seen as masculine. Sun used to be a feminine deity, but 5,000 years ago, before prehistoric times, the times which we don't know history about much, in those times, the name of the word even God does not mean male. There was no word for male god. It was a goddess in every religion, every culture. Anthropologists have found this. They've done research in different places, and they found that there was nothing like a male god. It was just goddess as a divine being throughout the world. So from those times, sun used to be feminine, moon was male. Now the deeper reason is this: sun is of course all energy, and feminine is that shakti, that energy. Masculine gives it the structure, stability, this, that. Masculine channels that energy in a focused way. But the energy itself is Shakti, feminine. It's like the
Okay.
sun. And moon is giving some structure, it gives tides and this and that, it creates, certain things. And then it gets associated with, a lot of time we say the 29-day moon cycle, which is the menstrual cycle. And a lot of women who are really tuned in, they find that they are
In
tuning
tune
in
with
with the
that.
moon cycle. And
Right.
when you're spiritually that connected, that can happen. And that could be just simply the moon is masculine and the cycle is feminine. So, that's why can't that join together, the masculine, feminine? So there's no contradiction there. I wouldn't say that that also has to be feminine. This has to be feminine. Why not?
Right. All right.
That can
So,
be.
so in what context we are using probably is what
Yeah.
we need to know.
So
All
the
right.
proper context, which is in the book, is, moon, Lakshmi ji says, is like, like the father energy. In the night, the moon shines just enough for you to walk. It is like watching over you. And so it is more, it's a little bit distant. And sun energy is like the mother energy. It is the whole Shakti that the child is getting nurturance from. And feminine, in a deeper spiritual context, is the unifying energy.
Hmm.
Unifying. And masculine is the individuating energy that creates a little separation. Unification and separation, they are the two opposite forces. You cannot unify unless things were separated. So when you're separating, when Krishna says you have to fall, that's a masculine falling into Kali Yuga. You are individuating. And now when you go into Satya Yuga, you have to join, that's a feminine age. So age of Aquarius is the same as Satya Yuga. That is why goddesses come now. That is why even our one enlightened master, our dear Patriji, who called this book the Bible of PSSM, he saw Lakshmi in the book. He saw the new age coming. I mean, he read thousands of books. He read all the Osho books and this books and that books, but he called this the Bible simply because this is the way, this is the direction we're going.
Right.
Goddesses are coming, and now the feminine, and more goddess books are coming, and that is where we're headed, and that is the age of unification. And unification is going to be make something bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Individuation is always making something,
Small,
making it
small.
apart, right? So higher selves also, if you go deeper and deeper, the conception can be the deepest higher selves become like feminine, Adi Shakti, and so on. And all the gods came from Adi Shakti. So we can have higher self really is androgynous, it's neither male nor female. But if you're calling the joining as feminine, then joining of two higher selves is feminine. And their individuation of one higher self, one soul from the higher self, is masculine. So
Masculine
in
force
that
at
way,
work. Right. Right.
yeah,
Right.
masculine
Mhm.
force at work.
Right.
So it's not so much about woman or man. Man has both
Mhm.
masculine, feminine working. Woman has both masculine,
Right.
feminine working. But we're
Right.
calling feminine as the joining force, and sun is feminine. Sun is not like a woman. Sun has got the feminine energy. I have feminine, I have masculine,
Right.
but
Right. Right.
the sun has more fire. Fire and water are feminine in the Lakshmi Ji's conception. Earth and air are masculine, and sun is all fire.
Right. Right.
It's all
Right.
joy. It's like bliss. One of the questions I had in the book was, no, she asked actually, what do you think when you think about the sun? And I said, like hot, like intensely hot. And then she says, that's your human way of looking at it. You
Mm-hmm.
have no, like, the sun is feeling intense bliss when those explosions happen on the sun. Sun is in great bliss. It's fire energy, it's bliss. Just from my human perspective, I'm thinking, oh, that's very hot, right? But from the consciousness perspective, it could be just radiant bliss that is unfolding. And the joy is feminine, fire is feminine, water is love, love is feminine in that way.
Right. And as you were talking about this Adi Shakti energy, can you just let us know about this next book that is coming and when it's going to be out and
So I have
what
my
is that book about?
first photocopy shop of the book,
Arey wah.
a photocopy version
Are we the
of
first
the,
people to see this?
yeah, kind of,
Oh
it's like
wow.
that's the book. But it's called A Thousand Flowers of Love with Parvati and Adi Shakti. So I just got this printed from a print shop, but it's getting typeset. So in a month and a half, it should be on Amazon, I'm hoping. Um, how is this book different? Just takes some of these things deeper. So here it was all Lakshmi's incarnation and Saraswati's wisdom. In this book, it's Adi Shakti's energy, and then through Parvati Ma, Shiva Shakti stories, all the stories of Parvati Ma, when Shiva rejects Parvati Ma, when she comes as Sati and then reincarnates as Parvati. And we have so much in India, a lot of the temples, everything is, built around some of that. And so those stories, then there are more stories about deeper wisdom of the Mahavidyas, the 10 Mahavidyas that is there. Then there is, in the beginning, deeper wisdom about same concepts like the thousand seeds of joy, where we talk about thoughts and emotions and ego. And there's seven kinds of thoughts, thought aggregates, which are perceptions, judgments. Then you've got beliefs and perspectives and intentions, expectations, identities. So these seven can be both unifying or divisive. That new concept comes in, which we did not explore so much in Thousand Seeds of Joy. So, in Thousand Seeds of Joy, this is all the mind, and you need to take the mind into the body, soul, higher self to dissolve the mind. In this book, you go even a little deeper layer of the mind itself. How can mind look at the mind to dissolve itself also, which we did not explore so much in Thousand Seeds of Joy. It was simply that you do breath processes and all of that. But here, Parvati Ma says that what you do is there's a concept here called unifying and divisive. So you can have unifying perceptions, divisive perceptions. You can have unifying judgments that all humans are equal. They're not equal. You and I are not equal. But if I say you and I are not equal, what kind of feeling does it create? Division between us, right? Now I say you and I are equal. What kind of feeling it creates? Unity. Neither of them are true completely. You and I are not completely different. We have similar cells and similar eyes, and we have some equality. So truth is a gray area. But whenever we surrender to unifying perceptions, unifying judgments, unifying beliefs would be all religions have goodness in them.
Hmm.
A divisive belief will be my religion is superior to your religion. So there's this deep wisdom that one way to dissolve the mind is to go to unifying thought aggregates, unifying judgments, unifying beliefs, unifying perspectives, unifying expectations. What I expect from you, you should be able to expect that from me. If we just change that, if we just bring that in different marriages in the world between couples, expectations can be similar. A lot of problems will melt away. But we expect to be served and loved, and we can't give that back many times, right? And that creates a problem. Then intentions, unifying intentions, world peace, love, instead of my country should dominate your country, that's a divisive intention, right? We do this all the time, my religion is better, or Hindus are this and Christians are that, we do all kinds of divisions in our thinking. And so unifying all of these thought aggregates, and the unifying mind is then ego melting into the higher self, emotions melting into the soul feelings. All of that is in the first part. Then is Shiva Parvati stories, then is Mahavidyas, then comes some wisdom about rainbow body enlightenment. The stories of Lakshmi and Saraswati in Vajrayana Buddhism. Lakshmi Ma incarnates as Mandarva. She's one of the greatest rainbow body masters, like Mahavatar Babaji has got rainbow body. So there are other beings who've had rainbow bodies. One of the biggest ones was Padmasambhava, Guru Rinpoche in Vajrayana Buddhism. But along him were incarnations of Lakshmi and Saraswati. Mandarva was Lakshmi, Yeshe Syogal was Saraswati. So Vajrayana Buddhism began with Yeshe, and Yeshe, Saraswati Ma's job is to create wisdom streams, right? So she came in Vedanta wisdom stream. Then she came in Mahayana Buddhism as the wife of Manjushri, and then she wrote about Mahayana Buddhism. Then she came as consort of Padmasambhava as Yeshe, and Vajrayana Buddhism started. So she started Vedanta, she started Mahayana Buddhism, helped start with Kuan Yin and Manjushri. And then she definitely was a part of Vajrayana as Yeshe. Yeshe wrote all the scriptures, you know. So many paths she started, and now with Thousand Seeds of Joy, there's also all this wisdom, soul feelings, emotions, it's all Saraswati Ma, right? So she brings in many parts of wisdom, and which is also there in the context of rain. There's a lot of discussion on rainbow body enlightenment because in the end, we have levels of enlightenment.
Right.
And if you're so more enlightened, your eyes will reflect that light. If you're even more enlightened, your face will also glow, your body will have around a glow around it. You know, some enlightened masters have that, you know, and we create that halo around enlightened masters. If you're completely rainbow body enlightened, then your entire body is body of light, which is what we think Mahavatar Babaji is. So I can disappear from here and I can appear there. Boom. Because I'm just light, right? That's the highest enlightenment. And they say that Mandarva, you can look it up on either Google or ChatGPT. Mandarva attained the highest attainment there is in rainbow body enlightenment, even more than even like the highest. You know. And Yeshe also attained that. And Padmasambhava and Yeshe, sorry, not Padmasambhava and Yeshe, Padmasambhava flew in his rainbow body from Nepal to Bhutan. There are all these writings, you know. And Yeshe was in Tibet and Mandarva was, you know. So all those stories are also there in this book. Yeah.
It, I had this book. We know about this an autobiography of Yogi by
Of course.
Paramhansa. Yeah, so he has given so many such examples of Rishi Munis from India who has been doing this. Uh, of course, their sadhana and the siddhis and all. So, so probably as you are sharing about this upcoming book, what I feel is that the thousand seeds of joy kind of prepared one layer of consciousness, one layer of awareness, and then you have practiced certain sadhanas and certain kriyas, and now you are ready for the next level. So I think the next level
Yeah.
is now probably coming up, and as goddesses says that now the humanity is ready, the universal consciousness is ready to receive. Now they are ready to give. So it's coming, and we have to prepare ourselves to 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 understand that there are emotions that we live in day-to-day life in this dimension of earth where this duality exists, the contrast exists, but this contrast exists not to make us suffer, but to make us experience the other thing which is possible, the other vaster possibility, the infinite possibilities for us. And this is what we are being prepared for. And yeah,
Yes.
and all this wisdom's coming. And another thing that as you are sharing is from what I my takeaway is that it's so much I mean this wisdom that Saraswati ji, Lakshmi ji kind of gives us, everything. I mean, she came at this incarnation, she came at that incarnation, she gave this during this incarnation. She opens up paths in so many ways. I mean, there is no one thing that you have to stick to. You can follow this path, you can follow that path. There are so many possibilities. Everything is okay. No judgments if it is taking you higher. And that is the femininity, right? That's the feminine force where you are just, there is no judgment to what path you want to take.
Yeah, I would say that they used to say, the gurus used to say in India, follow a guru, follow a path, otherwise you'll get lost. It's like you're climbing a mountain, there's a path, follow that path. If you deviate from that path and go, I can go this way and that way, and suddenly there's no path and you're lost on the mountain. So you need a path, winding as it is. But now there's more freedom. In this Satyuga that is coming, what happens is we, as souls, are being born at a slightly elevated place.
Mm.
So, what is happening is we can hold more, and the danger of getting lost is a little bit less because there's so much energy there. So, now we can simultaneously work as a yogi on the body with breath and all of that. And at the same time, we can work not just with the body, but with the soul also, with all the soul feelings and all that. At the same time, we can do kirtan and bhajan, and we can just get into all of that, and at the same time, we can do tantric practices also. It's not like now he's tantric and you are this and that. It's all getting a bit merged together.
Yes, right, right.
And all of that is the
Integrated
feminine
together.
way. It is getting integrated
Right,
because all of these are skills.
right.
And
There are
you can
tools,
use this
right?
a bit, you can use this
Yeah.
a little bit, you can use this a little bit. And there's not so much danger of getting lost when the consciousness level is a bit higher. But if it's a bit lower, then not having gurus and just trying so many things, you'll get lost.
Yes.
I'm doing
What
this
what
and I'm
I
doing
was
that and I'm
saying
doing
was
this and
that,
I'm doing that.
yeah, I mean, so many tools, many skills are available in whatever you feel aligned with. Of course, to the shown path only, but even
Yeah,
but there are so many paths which can go on the top of the mountain. You can take this path or that path, guided by that guru of yours.
yeah.
But yeah, so there
And maybe
openness about, as you are saying.
once I had this vision, I don't know, we'll do these things, but we have to still build more energy with the books. But like, like designing a whole day, a spiritual day, like you wake up in the morning, you do Devi Kriya, let's say you do yoga, then you do Devi Kriya, then then you do some chanting, let's say, then let's say at 11 o'clock you do some activations, you just clean the energies. Kuan Yin Ma has some great activations that I've worked with. You command your body and being to just release all the energies and bring in all of that. You could do that. You could do some chanting session. You could do some dancing session. Like a whole day could be, when we start having these retreats, could be filled with all these different activities. They're working with the body slowly, activating it and moving it in different ways with yoga, with dancing, with this, with that, and and that would feel like a completely lived day, and then by the time you sleep, you are like so resting, and again you start like that. So there could be more possibilities, and one doesn't have to just sit and meditate
Yeah,
and just do
yeah.
anapanasati all the time, which is also great, and one would do that in for a few days. But then one could have all these spiritual activities which just bring more oneness.
In more
And and
experiential
that would be a
experience.
feminine path. There could be like circles, Devi circles, talking, emotions coming out, healing,
Yeah.
all of that could be done. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And once we start having these, once this book comes out, maybe we'll start having some retreats and, have a bunch
Yes,
of
that has to.
activities. Yeah, that we
That has to
do.
be that.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Anandji, for this time. And if I mean we are, I mean there are, it's almost 2 hours, so I would not ask anybody to ask their questions. But thank you everybody for being still so long with us to have Anandji speak about all these things and to receive him with such a good grace. Everybody's video is off, so I would not. I mean I would have loved if you would have kept your videos on, but that's about it. If there is any final words, Anandji, for us, please, we would like to have it from you, and then we can close the session.
Yeah, so it was a pleasure to be on LifeSpace. It's a beautiful platform you're creating, and lovely to see so many faces, and really a joy to share about these books. That's become my life right now, and I also can't wait for this next book to come out. And when it comes out, of course, we'll inform all of you. So yeah,
We look
uh, many thanks for joining. And the books are available. The first one is available, of course, on Amazon, so you can order it. And the second one will also be coming out soon. And the first one is coming out in different languages. It's already out in Telugu, and Tamil translation's almost ready. And I'm myself doing the Hindi one week by week. I gave up after two, three times. So now I'm by with other people. So they can't get it right, the energy. So I have to do it myself. So I'm doing it paragraph by paragraph. Once the Hindi is out, Marathi, Gujarati will be easy. So people are working on that. So different translations are coming out. And we're building a retreat also. We bought some land in Maharashtra. We'll talk more about that, where we'll have big goddess statues, like a big Lakshmi Ma sitting and, Parvati Ma. Normally we have Shiva Buddhas and we don't have the big goddesses sitting. So that's also coming. So this Devi path will keep growing as we do all of this. And we really have to bring in that goddess energy. That's very, very much the future.
Right. And for all of us, as you have shared with us, that we will undergo our own wounding. So because of those woundings which has already happened, that 60% we are carrying from our lineages, from our DNAs, I guess we just keep continuing our work so that
Yeah.
more and more path is cleared for this the next the world that is kind of
Yeah.
opening up. And
Yeah.
I guess that's the way out. That's the way out of living life with more consciousness and more create ability to create that distance where we are living it at the same time we are not consumed by it. So there is more and more purities and more and more cleansing is happening. And I guess more of Devi circles and more of dancings and more of appreciative of morning birds chirping and plants and
Mm.
flowers. So we have to embrace our feminine energy
Yes.
consciously while doing this work. Is what is probably I might take away from your
Yes.
words today also and from the book also. And thank you so much, Anand Karunesh ji, for
Thank
being
you.
with us today. And
Thank you
thank you.
so much, Dr. Urvi. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody, for
Thank
coming
you.
here.
Thank
And
you, everybody, for
yeah,
being there for so late. Bye.
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 Thank
Bye.